Hey guys, I am Game Advisor and welcome back to another Icarus update video. Today we're going to be covering the week 11 content update, which has quite a bit of juicy upgrades for the game, so let's go ahead and talk about them. First up, we've got the new light and backpack slots. So you may be saying, well, Game Advisor, we've already got backpack slots. What are you even talking about? Well, the backpack slot is now a separate slot, meaning that you can carry your backpack on your back while also carrying a quest item. This is great because it's going to just save us the ability to not bring backpacks in on certain missions or use them on certain missions when we otherwise would have not been able to. They've also added a special new light slot, which you can kind of see here in this picture, which is basically just the ability to hit L and turn a light on and off that's either on your hip or I'm imagining your shoulder for the flashlight. We'll have to get in and actually use it. We might be able to get some of the footage of it before you actually see this, so hopefully you guys are able to see the light slot, but basically all this is it's a slot that says, hey, now I don't have to take up my main hand with my torch, with my lantern, with my flashlight, so that you can actually mine things now while you're in a cave with those items on your hip or your shoulder or whatever. I think this is an absolutely great addition to the game. This is something players have been asking for. It's been pretty high up on their hit list that they've been wanting to work on for a while, so I'm definitely glad they added it. Next, they added a form of inventory sorting by weight. As you can see here in this little image, there's actually a sort button right above your inventory apparently, and I'm assuming if we click that, it's going to go ahead and sort our inventory based on the weight of it. This is nice and all, and they do say that they're planning on adding more options and different ways to sort your inventory, which I'm very glad to see. That is a great quality of life item for us to have. I know a lot of people have been asking for this feature since they have issues figuring out what is causing everything in their inventory to be so heavy when they're overburdened and they drop, say, a stack of fiber and it only listens up maybe a single kilogram when they need to get rid of 20 and actually needed to drop some of the coal or other things. Again, it's also just a different way to sort your inventory. So if you've got a whole bunch of stuff in there and you just want to figure out what the heck's in there without having to go through each item, you can just click sort now and it'll sort it by its weight capacity. Next up, they talk about the addition of T4 tools. It looks like they're planning on adding in a full set of T4 items and tools into the game. They also talk about wanting to completely revamp the entire Tier 4 system because they feel like it's just not really that impactful in what they want it to be. Almost as if they're basically saying Tier 4 is currently just a placeholder, so hold on, we're going to work on it and we're going to replace things. Of course, they didn't specifically say that. What they said is that we want to substantially redevelop T4 and its role to provide a far greater depth than we currently offer. And I am so glad to see that because right now Tier 4 currently feels relatively worthless because most missions just don't require you to have it whatsoever. I think there's a lot of pretty interesting things they could do with Tier 4. Maybe a semi-automatic pistol would be pretty cool too. Maybe even adding like T5 eventually once they fleshed out Tier 4. We're really just going to have to wait and see what they add. But there's a lot of cool and interesting things I think they could do with Tier 4. Let me know your ideas down in the comments. And make sure you go and comment them to the devs so they know what you guys want added. They say they look at their Discord pretty often, so I would check that out. Next up, they added a new footprints and impressions in sand and snow mode. Basically, this is not turned on by default because I know a lot of people are going to be worried, oh no, is this going to mess up my graphics settings? What's going to happen? Is it going to make it so that I start lagging now? I already struggle with low frame rates. And the answer to that is basically no. This is an option that you can toggle on. Supposedly what it's going to do is make it so when you walk through the snow or anything that you drop into the snow will make like a little imprint in it so it's easier to find things and so you can actually see where you've been. It's just another addition to the immersion of the game, which I think Icarus is really trying to work towards, since right now it does still feel a little bit jank, but after this update, it seems like they've updated a ton of the bugs, which we're going to get into in just a second. But once again, this is not mandatory. If you want to activate it, it's disabled by default, so you'll have to go into your settings and turn on terrain deformation if you want to be able to use it. Now, this changelog is absolutely massive, and because of that, we're only going to cover a few of the super important and impactful ones that you guys may notice while you're playing or may actually change the way you play or things like that. If you want to, you can check this out on their Steam news page where you'll be able to see all of the updates they've put into this update. So let's go ahead and talk about the changelog. One of the things I find rather interesting is that they've added new animations to the small and medium interior crates. I just think this is cool because it seems like they're going to be adding a way for them to actually open and close, kind of like what happens when you open and close a chest in Minecraft while you're interacting with it. Just a great feature, no complaints from me. They've done a ton of different performance changes, which you're going to read if you read through all of this, but I'm not going to get into all of them because there are just so many. They've updated fire to be a little bit less impactful, which I know a lot of players struggle with. They updated torches to not be as impactful, which a lot of players struggled with. And they fixed a lot of other bugs too. So if you've been struggling with optimization, now might be the time to go ahead and boot up the game again, give it another shot, and see if the game runs a little bit better. So another one I want to mention is the fact that they've decreased the fur rewards from chamois, wolves, and rabbits. I don't really know how I feel about this, considering rabbits basically already gave us like 1 or 2 fur in most cases, and chamois only gave about 15, which again, I can understand that one going down a bit, but wolves were like your one consistent source of fur whenever you were in the forest biome, so I'm a little disappointed in that one because I think wolves should give you a fair amount of fur. They're fairly large creatures considering other things in the game, so they should give us a fair amount. Next is that they've made it so the escape key will now back you out of all menus. This is just a great improvement to the game in my personal opinion, but at the end of the day, this is just nice to have. Another big one for a lot of players is going to be the fact that they fixed an issue where pumpkin bread and pickled carrots just weren't decaying. Now, I understand pumpkin bread probably should decay over time, but I don't understand why pickled carrots should be decaying. These are pickled carrots, not carrots in a jar. These are pickled carrots. If you know anything about food, when you pickle something, it's supposed to last an extremely long time. So hopefully they've set these up to last way longer than they normally would have than compared to the other foods. And I'm only saying that because they're pickled. So to me, either change the name of it or make them a little bit longer at least than everything else. They've also fixed an issue where a lot of the carnivores were not targeting deer corpses. So if you've ever killed an animal before and there happens to be a hostile animal nearby, you may have noticed that they tend to go over towards those animals and try to consume them after they die. Now, with deers, this was just not happening, so it seems like they fixed that, so that's just something to be aware of. If you kill a deer near a bear or a wolf, they're probably going to want to go and eat it now. They fixed an issue where the black cougar boss was walking through the walls of its den. This is important because a lot of players were stuck on the mission where you had to kill the black cougar boss, so I'm definitely glad they've added this into the game, so this should help those people deal with the issue. Now, this next one I just have to talk about because it's just too interesting not to talk about. Apparently, they fixed the ability for elephants to stand on top of the radar and rotate with it. Please, if anyone has footage of this, send it to our Discord in our memes Discord, or send it to me privately on Discord and I might use it in a video. This sounds absolutely amazing to look at, and I would love to see it, as I'm sure many of our viewers would. So if someone knows where this is at, you can post a link down in the comments maybe, or post a link on our Discord would be preferred, which again you can find down in the description. But nonetheless, I just want to see this thing happening. This sounds so hilarious to watch, so please go ahead and shoot me a link over. They've also quote-unquote fixed the need for pistols and bolt-action rifles to not require any resources whenever they're repaired. Personally, this just made sense to me because I assumed we were cleaning it, not actually like putting on a new barrel. And if you've ever cleaned a firearm before, you know that it actually doesn't require a whole lot. You just need like a cleaning kit and you're good to go. So I don't know how I feel about it. Not really upset, as long as it's not going to cost me, 10 steel bars every time I want to fix my bolt action rifle. I'm okay with that. Another interesting one here, which we're going to have to test out for you guys and let you know how it works, or if somebody else has already tested out, feel free to comment down below, is the fact that they've fixed ballistics not causing animals to flee when fired. I don't know exactly what they're referring to here. Are they saying that non-hostile enemies would not run whenever you fired a gun? Or are they saying that all enemies should be running whenever you fire a gun? Because in real life, if you fire a gun, unless it's a bear, and even bears in most cases, when you fire a gun, they are going to run. Or if they're in the middle of fighting for their life, I guess they might keep trying to fight. But if there's a pack of wolves and I'm in the Arctic and I fire a bolt action rifle, if we're going for realism here, then yeah, the whole pack should run. But if we're going for fun and integrity of the game, I do not think wolves should run, but I do see deer running. That makes sense to me. I'm totally on board with that. So hopefully this doesn't make hostile enemies run, and this just makes non-hostile ones run. They've also fixed various mission and item typos. I just wanted to mention this because I've seen a lot of these in the game, so I'm definitely glad they've done that. They also fixed an issue where the incorrect placement or blueprint was showing in the MXC furnace, but I've never run into that one. But I just wanted to mention it. If you've ever seen incorrect spelling and stuff, it seems like they're paying attention to that, so do let them know in their Discord so they can fix it. They also fixed an issue where wine and beer bottles were not being given back upon consumption. Again, just another great fix that makes perfect sense. This worked with some of the other consumables like the jam jars, but it didn't work with beer and wine, which made absolutely no sense to me. I would even love to see maybe them add some kind of feature where it's like, hey, this bottle's dirty, now you actually have to clean it. I know doing dishes in video games doesn't sound like fun, but considering this is a survival game, I think it might be kind of interesting to actually add that in where after you get done drinking some beer or some wine, if you want to fill it back up with more beer, you first have to actually go wash it out with some water. I don't know. I think it'd be cool. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you think that's something they should add. And if we get enough people that are interested in it, I'll go over and I'll jump on the Discord and start posting for them and stuff like that. And well, that's going to be it for today. This was a absolutely massive update. There is a ton of stuff to talk about, and I'm so glad that they're still updating the game. They've added many asked for features, but unfortunately, they still have not put in the update to allow the ability to respec. I do want to say they did mention it right here. So if you're wondering if they're still thinking about it, they are planning to add it in. They just want to figure out how to do it so that it works correctly. Now, this may take some more time. Again, I really want them to put it in, even if it's just a one-time use like tomorrow, but I understand the devs are busy. And I understand that they have to be careful with how they implement it. I guess it has something to do with their actual code. So we'll just have to wait and see how long it takes. Hopefully we'll get it next week or maybe in the next couple of weeks. But I just hope it comes soon, since there are a lot of players who have quit this game simply because they don't like how they've spec'd and don't want to level up a new character. Speaking of which, if you want to check out how to level a new character because yours might have died, or you just want to have an alt to do hardcore missions on, consider checking out some more of the videos on our channel. We just put out a leveling guide, and we're going to be putting out an alt leveling guide here in not too long. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am Game Advisor, and I'll see you next time.